Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, all good.
So it's been long time that we are able to see you. So good to see you, sir.
Yeah, I
So with
see.
your G.
Some people are still joining in.
Yeah. So with your permission, should we start the session now?
Yeah. You just let
Okay.
me know.
Thank
We
you.
can. I
Okay,
will
so
just.
now we are going to commence yet another enlightening session of the Atal AICT sponsored faculty development program on From Goals to Outcome, Designing Education for Measurable SDG Impact. Our session today focuses on a theme of immense significance, curriculum design for sustainable future. In a world grappling with the climate change, social inequalities, and rapid technological disruption, the role of education is undergoing a massive transformation. Curriculum is no longer just a document, it is a blueprint for the future. Designing a curriculum for the sustainable future means integrating the sustainable development goals into teaching and learning, ensuring that every classroom becomes a microcosm for responsible global citizenship. And who better to guide us through this complex yet fascinating journey than our distinguished speaker for the evening? It is my privilege and honor to introduce Dr. Milan Patnaik, a name that commands respect and admiration in the field of cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and national security. Dr. Patnaik is an Army veteran who transitioned from a remarkable military career to becoming a visionary in technology entrepreneurship. He currently serves as an adjunct professor at Rastriya Raksha University, Chief Information Security Officer and Head of Global Services at Wisec Technology Private Limited, and co-founder and CTO at Armatech AI Private Limited. He is also an advisor at IIT Madras, adjunct faculty at IIT Jodhpur, and guest faculty at Maastricht University, Czech Republic. An alumnus of the National Defense Academy and IIT Madras, Dr. Patnaik has over 24 years of experience in developing and securing critical telecommunication and IT infrastructure for our nation. His research spans offensive security, artificial intelligence application, blockchain integration, and predictive security algorithm. Beyond his academic brilliance, Dr. Patnaik has mentored more than 40 startups championing the development of made in India products to strengthen our country's technological backbone. He has commanded India's largest telecommunication unit along the China border, a testament to his leadership, resilience, and commitment to national security. His contributions have been widely recognized, earning accolades from the Indian Army and the Governor of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. Through his insights, we will explore how curriculum can be restructured to cultivate future-ready learners, foster innovation, and align academic outcomes with the global sustainability agenda. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's fasten our intellectual seatbelts as we embark on this inspiring journey of thought and transformation. Please join me in extending a warm virtual welcome to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Milan Patnaik. Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us today. The screen is all yours now.
Thank you, Dr. Naira. It was elongated and sumptuous introduction. Thank you for that. And good evening to all others. There are almost nearing 100 listeners to the talk. Okay, so to start with, I would like to share my screen. Dr. Nera, if you can remove your sharing, then I'll do it. Yeah. Give me just 1 minute. Actually, Dr. Nera, you need to allow me to share the screen.
Just a minute, sir. Sir, have you joined from the same email ID which you gave me on the WhatsApp?
Yes.
Okay, let me check then.
You want me to disconnect and connect again?
Just a minute.
I think you may not have added this email in the group link.
I sent you the invitation on your email, the email ID that you gave me.
Okay. Then I'll just join from there.
Okay.
Just, sorry guys, give me just 1 minute. Yeah, I think I got it.
Okay, sir. Are you able to share a screen now?
Yeah. I'll just, I am just doing that. Just let me know if you can see my screen.
It's being started, sir. Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Now we are able to see. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So, before we actually go into today's session, I just want to, tell you a small story behind thought of this, whole thing about SDGs and how education is leveraging SDGs. When COVID happened, all of you must be knowing that everything went online, right? So suddenly, the whole world came to know or realize that it's not very difficult to, interact and do multiple activities in the field of academic sessions or in the whole field of education that can happen online. So many people had the thought that okay, education through online meals will not have that effect that used to happen when you physically go to class and do an offline education, right? Many still, some part of the world, the educators, academicians, my friends, they feel like that. But the outcome I would want to highlight to everyone is that it is the period of that time, the COVID time, when we saw the maximum increase in the academic potential of pass outs, that is the freshers, across the globe. And this is a statistic by Gartner. But then if the thought was that through online education is not effective, then overall the academic excellence of the students across the globe, how has it gone up? So this is the question, right? This was a question. So similarly, a fallout of this was the amount of energy that globally every country saved as far as its energy consumption is concerned. Again, it's a very interesting statistic to read about. It is also important to know what is the reduction in the consumption of fuel that happened across the globe to multiple countries during this time, and so on and so forth. So multiple statistics came into public domain, that what happened during this period of COVID, when most of the people were confined to their houses, and everything was very, very positive as far as the sustainable development goals that has been laid down is concerned. So to say that means modern education is, whether it is whichever technology it is, whether it is AI, whether it is cloud computing, whether it's blockchain, cybersecurity, IoT, and anything, every kind of education can be imparted using a tech platform, and which forms a very, very strong, powerful background for achieving the UN sustainability goals, all 17 sustainability goals. Now, this was proven practically because of a fallout of a pandemic, right? But which should not have happened. So sometimes when in a lot of discussions, we see that some people ask me that, okay, if the pandemic would not have happened, what would have happened to the growing edtech industry? Maybe we would not have gone so far so fast, but we could do it because there was a need. So with that as a background, what I'm going to talk to you about is how edtech innovations has helped in education, not only as far as the education SDG is concerned, but education across complete SDG platforms. So it's like the knowledge of each sustainable development goal can be disseminated, as well as every sustainability development goal can somehow leverage the power of education technology, or edtech as it is called, and its innovations to help solve the problem of fulfilling the sustainability development goals. So before we come to what all are today people are looking at, let's just have a basic platform to start with. We all know that 2015 was the year of adoption of SDGs, right? So why I'm giving you this data is from 2015. Just put yourself at the beginning of 2015 to 2020, when the pandemic happened. Okay, maybe you will not remember many technology which you would have faced in the field of education is concerned, right? So, but the target is 2030 to achieve certain goals which has already been laid down. That is one. Second, okay, a lot of people did multiple commitments, right? There was a universal call for action, and there was an action plan laid out with various countries with definite goals, how they will achieve. And all these goals were interlinked, right? Now, if you see, this is the whole, you can tell the whole environment of sustainable development goal, which was created in the last 15 years, as we speak. And what all it actually focused on, that all these goals had comprehensive coverage, right? So it panned across all problems that needs to be solved, to poverty, to hunger, to climate, and so on and so forth. And every such goal, achieving such goal needs to be measurable, right? Because as a country, every country said, okay, we'll achieve this at some time, so it has to be measured, and it cannot be achieved individually. It was a collective effort. So this was the background of the full blueprint of these sustainable development goals. And what it focused on was what you can see now, the 5 P's it is called. It focused on people to solve all the problems related to people, whether it was health, education, gender equality, dignity, coming to the problems related to planet, to prosperity, to peace and partnerships. Now, the interesting question comes is, okay, now if you have to keep this complete 5 P's in your mind, how can education and complete vertical, I mean education, academia as a complete industry, help or contribute towards all these 5 P's framework? This was a very interesting question, because we understand that if there is a manufacturing unit, the manufacturing is contributing some positive or some negative to the environment in such a way. There are some activities which many companies, enterprises, they do. But how do you think academic industry can contribute to towards the SDGs? Is a challenging question. Apart from the fact that we all know that SDG 4 itself looks after education. So a lot of people, lot of the academic institutions, they thought that okay, our responsibility towards the 17 goals is defined to SDG 4, right? Because we have to impart education in the way that it affects the people. However, but there were much more. There were much things which are beyond only doing that activity. As an academic community, we need to do much more things beyond this education to help achieve what a national target is meant in this field. So one of the very important point which came into achieving or contributing was education technology, EdTech, as we say, right? Now, some statistics which I wanted to show, that this is just one example of poverty. I will just relate why I am showing this. 800 million plus people in extreme poverty, needs to be converted. Target is 2030, and it can only be done by collective effort. So to say that this achieving target, which is set by various different industries across different countries, have a progressive plan. Now, in this progressive plan, one of the major contribution that can be done is education, right? So the education forms the baseline platform to help every country to achieve their sustainable development goals. But as an industry, we also have to look at contributing towards all these goals. So it was a very complicated situation for all academic institutions. How are they going to participate in this whole movement towards the SDGs? So that was a challenging problem. So one of the solutions of this challenging problem was the evolution of educational technology. This is what I've been telling, that imparting education through multiple methods of edtech platforms can actually help achieve multiple of these goals. We will see the use of edtech in each of these goals, and we'll also look at what the major change that needs to be done or that has happened if you want to involve pure play innovative methodologies or edtech in imparting education across these SDGs. Okay, one point I want to highlight in this regard is that if you want to move from one method of imparting education to a different method, the syllabus remains same, right? Today, just as we saw during the pandemic time, right? The board syllabus never changed, or the engineering syllabus never changed, neither for any humanities vertical. But then the methodology changed. So when there is a change of methodology, which is required to be achieved by industry together, however, the subject syllabus remains same, it is a challenging task to match these two things to get the perfect solution. And that's where designing a curriculum which can actually move this industry towards achieving the SDGs comes into play. So as an industry, it was a very interesting problem actually. I remember those days when we were designing curriculums to achieve the same output, which you would have got if it was not an online education platform, it's an offline education platform. Interesting. So, various kinds of innovations came into play. So one of the examples which I want to give you, that's from my industry, the cybersecurity industry. This was the biggest problem because, if I talk about a tech involved education, then you need to have hands-on labs. You need to, interact with some products to know and understand how the whole system is working, and that's where the skilling comes into play is in that vertical. Now, to transform the physical mode of imparting this kind of education to a completely sustainable method of education where we are doing everything online, but still achieving the goal where every student has the advantage of still doing hands-on labs, still able to get the same kind of skilling that you would have done if it was done in a physical lab, was a challenge. So there came a solution which many of you, if you have heard about, is called a cyber range, where it's a tech platform which gives that immersive experience where you are doing the labs the same way you would have done if you would have done in your physical lab at the location. But I just give you an example of cyber security. Now look at other subjects, other specific subject, artificial intelligence. We all know that the basis of AI is compute, right? So unless you have compute, you cannot really train models, AI models. You cannot be an AI professional, or you cannot have any curriculum which can be designed to give a let's say a PG program on AI. But however, this was not possible because if you have physical presence required, there was a question mark. If you need compute at a huge amount, you burn a lot of energy, big data centers. So people started looking at solutions like, okay, how we can have a education platform which can still train a high compute, high energy resource curriculum without actually spending energy. It was a very interesting problem, and I feel proud to say that as part of India was one of the first countries where, I don't know whether you follow some of the academia news, you would have come to know that IIT Madras has come up with a learning management system to train artificial intelligence simulated environment without using large GPUs. And we could do it because, again, of innovation which moves towards fulfilling a curriculum which has to support sustainable development goals. So the point what I want to bring out is it was a challenge if you see individual in your field. So I am from the tech background, so I'm giving only technology examples, but all of you, if you are from management or humanities background, you can also really relate that. How will you teach, let's talk about agriculture to somebody if he's not on ground, right? You don't want people to travel to a single place, do some activity without being physically present there. But there are solutions in AR VR, as we know, augmented reality, where you give an immersive experience in doing a task which somebody would have done if he was physically present in that location. So these are the various challenges and examples which came into play. So if you actually look at it in the last few years after COVID is the time when there was large scale innovations that took place as far as edtech is concerned, because this was fulfilling not only the requirement of offline education, but it was actually fulfilling multiple goals, sustainable development goals, which was the requirement by every nation. So I was just giving this example because these are the examples which you see on the slides, which actually people think, how can you train somebody on AR, VR, or artificial intelligence without being physical presence, but it is possible. Whether you talk about cloud computing, blockchain, data analytics, immersive platforms, various edtech platforms are available today where you can do. Let's talk about an example of blockchain. We all know blockchain is a compute maintaining blockchain. Some of the algorithms are very compute intensive, but if you really have to train people, you have to reduce the resources cost, you have to reduce the dependence on physical data centers, to look at some of the SDGs. Then you need to have some simulated environment which can give you the same kind of experience that you would have done if you would have used a full-fledged blockchain environment. But so therefore, you need to also design the methodology, which is, as we call, the curriculum, in a way that the end product, the end outcome of what you do, or the end outcome of a student who is learning, reaches the same level of expertise and skilling that he would have done if he was using a physical platform to then an edtech platform. So that's the problem statement which will remains, and many such problems have been solved using various technology. Okay, so we will just go through. I've just jotted down some of the examples under every SDG, that how education technology has helped this as help in achieving this sustainability development goal, and which has resulted in a different methodology of training. So there has been a shift in the methodology and the curriculum to achieve such kind of things. So one is like breaking the poverty cycle, right? You say, how how as an academia I can contribute to that, is by providing AI driven skill matching. So there are algorithms which has been designed, which connect the learners with the employment opportunities, and therefore you reduce the job search, job time, and improve placement rates. Now this is an innovative approach which technology has brought in solving this problem, by educating people to do a process which is completely different from what you were doing separately. Similarly, blockchain, micro credentials, right? Like generating digital certificates of any skill, competencies, and qualifications, which is different from the way we used to give certificate when we did physical programs. So now you might say that, okay, it's not very immersive to get a digital certificate today rather than having getting a physical certificate, but this solves a majority of the problem. So this reminds me one of the very interesting problem which came. Again, I give the example of the pandemic time, when many of the universities, they did offline convocations, and different innovative approaches were used by various. Maybe the first year everybody just did an offline discussion for the convocation, and more as the pandemic increased, I would say more immersive methodology of convocations, where more augmented reality or AI driven approaches were used, in which you get the same immersive experience as you would have done. But the result is the reduction in travel, the reduction in the power consumption, resource consumption, and every step that you did was actually reaching to achieve some of the SDGs. So what you did actually, you just changed the curriculum the way it is, right? It was designed to do in a single in a step process, which we designed now in a different way to achieve the same goal. So this is one of the examples. Similarly, in every learning experience, one of the example is like mobile first learning. Like a lot of e-learning platforms came into picture, which democratized the complete academic industry, where you can have low income learners can actually also reach the same level of expertise as different learners. Let's take example of SDG 2, agriculture. So if you actually see, each of this goal requires some kind of an education which is required to achieve, right? As a country, if I have to look at SDG 2, I know that I need a specific set of expertise of people who want to do this, who want to help us achieve this. But the problem is to even educate these people to help the nation to achieve this. We need to have processes which itself are sustainable. So, like an example, these are very few examples which I have given the slide just to keep the context. But you can think about various multiple immersive examples like IoT agriculture platforms. Okay, this is now the buzzword. Every farmer is looking at IoT based integration of data, and this data is getting analyzed to do some predictive analysis and helping growth of agriculture. People used to sit in the class and read about how to improve the growth, agricultural growth in a piece of land, right? So now it is being achieved by using much more immersive methods, by using IoTs, by using algorithms running on the data that is collected, and which has entailed the complete change in the curriculum in this field, right? AI agriculture advisors is another problem which was solved by technology, that you really did not, for example, you did not go in to see the crop, whether the crop is doing well, or what are the problems which is coming in the leaf. They all are done through drones, through satellite imagery and whatnot. But all this was done because I cannot go there physically so frequently as I used to do when it was fine. And so the whole process of people in this industry getting trained had to be changed. Virtual farming simulators. Now, see, this is a very interesting thing. I came across one of the simulators from UK, and which we have adopted in some of the agricultural colleges today, which I know. But just imagine, these simulators have been used by the universities in UK for 15 years now. So that's why, as far as attaining this SDGs are concerned, they are much beyond to do this. So to say that the way the education has been imparted to achieve a goal like this needed a massive change, and this change was for good. And because of this sudden change, the way we get educated on achieving a goal, it has reached a stage today where we are looking at a very advanced method of imparting education to achieve the sustainable goals today. Let's give think a little bit about healthcare education, right? Let's talk about very basic healthcare education, like training the you can tell about not about the doctors, but let's talk about the medical assistants. Today, I don't know if you have heard about the immersive simulator which Triple IT Delhi has today, where every kind of a training, whether it's first aid to start with CPR to multiple kinds of emergency response training, are done using a simulated environment on real human robotics, where you need not you can do all of this training under one single roof in one lab. So that's where the complete methodology of education has to transform, where you need to know how to use these technologies to actually impart the level of education that you're looking at. As a result, what has happened is you have reduced footprint of physical presence or use of resources, manpower, energy to a very, very large extent. Telemedicine training modules is again a very, very upcoming field where healthcare professionals are being trained to use ERP systems. Doctors have been trained to use medical ERPs where they can keep a set of data for their patients, and they use generative AI. When a patient comes to you after, let's say, third, fourth time, you use generative AI, which gives you, the history of what has happened to this patient. So gone are the days when you start referring to old prescriptions, or next step was writing down on a notepad or on a workflow management system. But now a summary comes up today when a doctor is seeing the patient, right? So now, therefore, even the methodology how healthcare education is imparted needs to be changed. So the outcome will be the same, right? If I am a surgeon, I should know how to do a surgery. But earlier, when I was actually doing that surgery on carcasses and other such equipment, now we are doing it on robots, we are doing it on virtual reality modules, and still achieving the same skilling standard which we would have achieved if we are actually doing it physically. So that's the game changing thing that has happened. Augmented reality medical simulations are in the rise, and it's very interesting to know that a lot of work in health tech itself is going on, where these kind of products can be available for imparting education, and hence a very, very different kind of a curriculum needs to be designed to achieve the same goal. AI based wellness platform, again, I'll give an example. Nowadays, if you see diagnostic centers across the country, across a city, let's say I talk about Delhi, so there might be more than thousands of diagnostic centers. The effectiveness of each diagnostic center depends on the radiologist who is looking into the results, right? Now today, there are more than 50% diagnostic centers all across India. You would see is not affiliated to a radiology, because the government has also created some GCC centers where there were common radiologists who sit. These reports are sent automatically, processed under AI models based on some outputs which people have done in the past, and fed back as a report, as an instant report to these diagnostic centers. Now, if you think about healthcare education, just consider this example, like a radiologist, the way he used to learn how to do it is gone into completely different paradigm, where that there has to be a system. You need to know how to analyze this output of the AI platform, how to give a report which will be used to train these AI models in future. So a complete different methodology of education has changed, right? So that's how you need to look at very, very innovative approaches in this sector. SDG 4 is what academia is meant for. We need to give quality education, but just the picture that I have put deliberately, where you see, does this happen? It doesn't happen now, but I am sure in very few days to come, you will find a classroom where the students are sitting like this. They are wearing a AR VR goggles. There is no teacher or professor who is teaching, but it is just that to imbibe the discipline, they come to the school, they wear the AR VR, and they go into the immersive learning experience and understand the practical part of it, and finish the class without even the presence of a teacher. Now, it appears that it is futuristic, but this is being done in some of the primary education today, where touch, feel, other things are being taught to toddlers, maybe some basic academic delivery to primary school students. But then what needs to change? The whole curriculum, that needs to be designed for a class which has to undergo AR VR based education needs to be completely different. Now, some of the people, they keep asking this question to me, that if you use so much of ed tech in education, is it not that you don't need that much of time to actually impart this education? For example, let's say if you have to use complete ed tech, again I'll give the example of the cyber training only. If you have to use a cyber range to train everybody, then do you think that BTech in cybersecurity will need 4 years? This is a very big question which comes into a lot of people, and many people have asked me. But the point is that it still needs that time, because it is not just that whatever is the curriculum, the way it is designed, you just plug in your sustainable education technology and shorten the time of education. Sometimes getting these sustainable methodologies into the education field actually increases the time which is required to fulfill some sector of a subject which was maybe done at a lesser time frame when you are doing it physically, sitting in the class without using any technology. So this is an interesting problem. You should think about it. And some of the examples, if I tell you, is what I was trying to say, that when a child is into immersive education, it has been seen that based on past statistics, that a child spends more time in engaging with that immersive platform rather than just attending one class of 40 minutes when some teacher comes and explains. So because you can repeat, you can play, you can clarify your doubts then and there, so the process of education gets elongated. So this is what we are looking at when we are looking at SDG 4, that we have to do quality education, we need technology, we need sustainable technologies, but we also have to realize that it will entail a complete change in the way you look at it. Let's talk about let me give an insight of let's say college like Teerthanker Mahaveer universities today. Some of you are going and training people, students in the class. It's a very interesting exercise, that just think once that, okay, from next semester, I do not have to teach this subject completely in the classroom. I have to teach this subject by two ways. One is only by written content. This is a very important exercise which we used to do when long back, 20 years back, when I was doing my studies in Europe. One of our professors used to say that, okay, if you have to teach a subject, so you have a presentation which is running, you are talking, that's fine. But how well can you explain the same thing to a student if you just hand over a booklet to him, maybe a 10-page, where you write down whatever you are going to thinking and what you are speaking and give it to him, where he reads it and still achieves the same level of competency that he would have achieved if he was sitting in your class. Sometimes just think about it. This was a very interesting workshop that one of our quantum computing professors used to get us done, because we used to think that quantum computing you cannot understand unless you are sitting in the class. And he used to have a class of 400 students all across various Erasmus states used to come. But then he says, I have mastered giving those notes, because there were less teachers to teach quantum computing, and there were large amount of students who wanted to know, but I need to pen down what I am going to teach in a way that even if you just read it, you will reach the same level of expertise. Today, if I think about that, and those days we used to think that why he is doing this, what is the use of it? But today, if you think like that, if it is possible today to teach the same academic curriculum by just sharing your video, and to get the same effect or same level of skilling that would have happened if you're standing in the class and doing it, how much contribution you have done towards the SDGs for this nation. It's a very interesting statistic, right? So 20 years back, one guy was thinking that no, you should just write down and give it, so that you don't spend time and resources to come and sit in the class. You just read my notes and you should be able to understand. Was a visionary thought. Actually, if I when I think about it, and when I meet him, he's very old. I always remind him about this example. So I just wanted to share this with you. So yeah, quality education has to be in a way that not only technology, but it is the way you teach to the students. It can be translated to different methodologies to achieve the same target. So that's the essence. So let's look at 5. Gender equality, right? How do you educate people on gender equality through technology? There are global mentorship network where we do a lot of labs, which actually gives some statistics, where you come to know that what kind of current statistics exists. It gives a thought process. It's like providing another example is like providing a safe virtual classroom, because if you give a virtual classroom, it actually adds on to the gender equality principle. So you have contributed intrinsically, where boys and girls are all together without discrimination, because you never see who is there on the video call, right? Like now I'm just talking and so many people are there. There are almost 90 of them, but you don't know how many people are of what gender in this. And of course, machine learning algorithms can also help in doing this kind of education. Coming to the most important SDGs is clean water and sanitation and affordable clean energy. Mainly when we talk about SDGs, people always focus on the environment effects, and the environment effects are more easily known by these two goals, that is energy and sanitation. So technology can actually play various roles. Now if you see on the left picture, what I wanted to show you is there is a you can see some kind of a simulation which is happening on the left side, right? So let's say there's a purification plant or some technology which is you want to study as a biochemical engineer. So there is a simulation which can happen, and this simulation can actually give you the immersive experience of actually doing it in a lab. And let me tell you, the left photograph is actually of a simulator. It's a screenshot of a simulator which simulates water system, and that's what it is. And similarly, when you talk about let's talk about clean energy. It's like simulating or making a digital twin of a biochemical plant, or a recycle manufacturing unit, or these kind of activities where your methodology of education is purely based on simulating such things in a environment where you do not have to actually physically do it. Coming to SDG 8, that is of course is the workforce for tomorrow. Again, we have very, very important role in to play as academic industry. That career analytics is one of the example which actually helps change in the methodology of education. Okay, let me give an example of analytics, how it is being used today in imparting education. One interesting example I saw, one of the engineering colleges I had visited recently in Chennai, where every teacher is using an app which gives the analytics of understanding that the students are doing in the class. So, for example, what it helps in that today, let's say I'm conducting a class and I have 100 students, 200 students. Some places it's like Last week I was visiting NUS Singapore, and there were 400 students sitting in the class. How do you know that what is the grasping potential of the class, so that you can decide whether you'll have another class, you'll have a follow-up class, and or you will shorten the syllabus, or you will extend the syllabus. Now it is all being done using an app, an analytic app. But how will the analytic app actually do it? One way is, okay, you have some feedback mechanism from each student who actually gives you the input about whether they're understanding or not. But it's not only about just that educational parameters. It was very interesting to know that it also used computer vision to see how the students react. It also looked at how much is the student reading about that subject. So many such parameters, it was very interesting to see, have been captured to analyze, to give that input to the teacher, that okay, whether you have to focus on which part of the subject again, or you have to do a second class, or it is good to go. Now these analytics also help you in reducing the overall resource footprints, as I say, call it, and achieving some of the SDG goal. Okay, and some other means like partnerships with industry who develop this innovative technology is important. And of course, we need to transform people who have gone through this immersive kind of education with this new curriculum, let's say, to be acceptable in the industry, to get the same economic mobility. That means employment should not get affected, right? So it's not that if I have been trained in a specific way, then I will be, getting employment in a specific way. Yes, somebody wants to ask a question. Go ahead.
So, from this point of view, which we can say up, like as the president of ICI is also planning to do the MOU from other countries also, so that we as a chartered accountant can do the work not only in India as well as in abroad also, while working from here only. So that means we are preparing the organization team or the working area, not the zone of in India only, but as well as the perspective apart from India also. That is preparing the workforce for the tomorrow and linking the industry partnership from their organization also.
Perfect. And the interesting thing here is you've given a good example. I was thinking about a legal example. Let's talk about a legal compliance example, right?
Mm.
I will again give example of the field I belong to. Let's say cyber law. We talked about. Now, if you have a firm today who is working on compliances of cyber security, gone are the doors when Big Four used to come and actually do audits and assessment, and then just to map to your specific laws. Today, sitting in India, the workforce can do GDPR compliance, they can do HIPAA compliance, and all is done by using one platform. I don't know whether you have used it, something called as Microsoft Compliance Manager.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So it's like, so that it is a platform which has been given today, which democratize auditing and compliance management across the globe. So if something happens like this, and we partner with the industry which provides that solution, you see the amount of contribution you have done towards the SDGs today. So this was one very good example, like you also brought out as far as compliance.
That is what SDG 8 is going for. They
Yeah.
are not preparing the like the youth, not for this. It must say only for this, for today, present scenario, but also working for the tomorrow, for the future
Exactly.
perspective point of view.
Exactly.
Very
Perfect.
well explained. Thank you.
Thanks. Going ahead, okay, innovation. I see the whole story today is depending on innovation, right? So I have given two very specific examples which we understand. Cloud innovation hubs. All these technology that I talked about, all the methodology in which education is being transformed today is dependent on the power of cloud infrastructure. That means we have multi-tenacity, we have scalable infrastructure available across, so that it is location agnostic, it is geography agnostic, it is time agnostic, and 24/7 availability of a platform at any place in the world, right? And it can only happen if it has happened through a cloud infrastructure. So projects like the example which is given, helping projects on AI, IoT, robotics, and other emerging technology on a cloud innovation hub is what can help students learn the same way that they would have done if it was a physical. Digital twins and VR labs. You don't have to go to a power factory. In fact, let me tell you one project that we are working again with IIT Delhi is where they don't want the electrical engineers to actually go to a power plant or a thermal power plant to see how it works. So they were creating a digital twin of that platform, right? So today, digital twin is a very common word. Today, even if you want to do preventive maintenance, for example, there is a software which Boeing gives for preventive maintenance of the aircraft engines, where you don't, if an aircraft is, let's say, in Dubai, the preventive maintenance can be carried out here because you just have to connect few parameters of that equipment there, which creates the digital twin here, and I can actually service the aircraft, look at its parameters, whether it's working or not. So this in aircraft industry, it's been happening for some time, but look at, if you just democratize this mechanism, then look at how education can actually get change the whole world if you use that. So VR, digital twins, and cloud is the core of the next gen education and mechanism. Okay, SDG 10 is about inclusions. Okay, this is something more little bit different from what we are talking about today. Okay, but if you have a specific platform, I'll just give one example, a platform which has a specific method of doing a task in academia, then it is inclusive, right? One example I would give that let's talk about coding. If you're teaching coding to a class where you want to have a card which is inclusive, then you design a platform and a lab which can be done by anyone in the same way, as if no physical impairment or anything was there which could restrict them. So this is a very interesting field where some of the Scandinavian countries have gone much ahead in designing this kind of curriculum, where these platforms can actually call the whole education as inclusive, because they don't the methodology does not discriminate between the ability of the student, what he can do. So this is very, very futuristic, but we need to look at these mechanisms also. Coming to sustainable cities, digital twin simulations. Okay, these are again different kind of mechanisms where you need to look at education in this field, like virtual planning workshops. Okay, we do a lot of simulations. Let me again give an example of cyber security. For example, I'll give an example where we use completely digital twin of a zone of a city, sometimes a smart city, to simulate how cyber attacks are going to happen, right? So this can only be possible if you have sustainable cities. So that is called smart cities, where you have the points where you can collect this data, create a simulation platform, and do the simulation of how the things can happen in this area of an incident, and then replicate it on ground. So that's one of the very interesting thing. Okay, circular economy learning is again very, very specific to tracking, and the tracking is all powered by blockchain based gamified environment. So one is the gamified module, which gives you multiple scenarios, so that you can check these scenarios, whether they can any algorithm which you develop, whether it is checking the same scenario, or tracking mechanism of platform which actually gives a large impetus on SDG 12. Okay, just you can see that one statement I've given, that simulations allow students to design products considering that the complete economy or the raw material is available with you, and these kind of simulations actually help in very, very interesting outputs, which wouldn't have happened if it was a traditional method of doing this. So this is just one example. Climate, we will not stress much into climate action, because I've spoken enough about it. Every method, every platform which we spoke about, which we thought which we highlighted, is actually related to resource, and resource lowering the resource usage is all contributing to SDG 13, right? So some of the example, as I show you, the green skill trainings, they are all they contribute to this SDG 13. How education in this field of protecting the planet, that is below water, land, and science. One example I would just give in this, that a lot of technology has gone into maybe satellite imaging, which has been infused with mechanisms to study both land and life underwater, and provide that simulated environment, where you can actually look into education in this field, whether it's fisheries, whether it is about soil, or these kind of things. So again, immersive, but immersive has to be supported by data, and the collection of data has to be done in a specific way. So that's how it's helping. Governance, of course, one example I gave in governance, like somebody spoke about the CS. One example I gave about the compliance platforms. So these kind of activities help in supporting SDG 16. But like one of the example which again I took from one of my friend, the virtual diplomacy simulator. When you say that, okay, whatever mock international simulations you are doing, so these kind of simulations are important when you are actually going and presenting in a forum where you are discussing policies and other government's issues. So these are also interesting methods today has come, which can support such kind of SDGs by a different technology-driven education platform. So yeah. So finally, we look at how all this pan into in SDG 17, right? 17 is actually the conjunction of all the things that we spoke about. Okay, we need to look at the universities who share the research and curriculum. There has to be collaboration between every platform, and providing these APIs to a university to able to tweak it based on their own curriculum, so that their learning can be tailor-made to the way they are looking at one subject or one sector. Platforms have to be tech-driven, of course. Multiple policies of the governments are also important, because if the government does not take out a policy that, okay, if this kind of curriculum can result into the same kind of certifications oblique methods of giving examination or passing, then no matter how much you go into democratizing this platform based education that we are talking about. You might change the curriculum, but the policy should support such kind of activities which can be done today. So the learning ecosystem, of course, has to change, because first of all, all the stakeholders in the whole learning ecosystem need to understand about what we saw today, as also they need to be able to accept all kind of technology that is needed to support this kind of curriculum designing and study infrastructure, as I say, or and everything has to be unified, so that they support each goal supports the other goal in some way. So that's the whole summary circle, as may say, of what we are looking at today. So some of the impact numbers I wanted to show you, that how AI personalized platforms have given additional, because this is what I spoke about in the start, right? So if you see the impact, 75% improved learning outcomes. Okay. It may not be as quantified into granular way you are thinking, but that's the fact and the statistics globally available from Gartner reports. 60% cost reduction, right? 85% accessibility increase. This is a simple example which I give you. If you if you would have missed your bus to school, you missed the class earlier, right? But today, if every class is governed by a tech platform, then even if you miss your bus to school, you can still access the education that was imparted on that day in your class. So accessibility increase. And of course, credential verification, again, because the whole system now, the more and more you become virtual, you have to prove that you are the man who is actually being behind the scene. Like I was telling, even if without seeing everybody's face, I should know that who's the person who is doing this. So credential verification important, and because that is a gap, and more stress has gone into giving these platforms of education credential verification mechanisms, so it becomes much better and governed as compared to what you would have done without these kind of education platforms. So not only that you are supporting the SDGs by designing specific curriculum using this kind of technologies, but it gives the impact is also much more than what would have happened. And this is what we have learned, unfortunately, in some time over. Yeah, somebody has another question.
One more question regarding this. Like nowadays, virtual platform is there. The students are also learning. Even we also, as we don't have an opportunity to meet you, even with this platform, we are able to have the interaction with you. But many research has been done on this also. What was earlier happened when we are having a face-to-face coordinations, the learning. But now, if it is converted into virtual, don't you feel like, though SGV is coming up, though everything is saying in a very good and positive manner, but what was the actual fact it is?
Yeah, see, this is a question which people ask me, very common. That's the example which I gave you, right? Can you sit in the class and do one specific lab? Let's talk about a chemistry lab of a student, right? Because we all know that in a chemistry lab, unless you put one beaker into the other and you see the fumes coming and something, even if I give a AR VR immersive experience to the student who is doing the same thing, is it that he is learning or getting skilled to that level which he would have done physically when he was doing it? This is a question. And let me tell you, I with the more and more use of AI and Gen AI today, the more immersive experience which started coming in, till AI, it was still, there was a gap. With Gen AI coming in, where you can actually synthesize data. This is very important. Everybody should try to understand that what Gen AI is adding. Gen AI is adding the data that I have, and it synthesizes the data to give that actual one edge ahead, right? So it becomes not only immersive, it becomes impactful actually. So, and once that things come into play and the technologies are engrossed into such platform, I don't think there will be many difference. It's just in our mind that does it work this way? It doesn't work. And especially like a teacher, okay, like a professor, I always feel that okay, why should I only teach virtually? Why not I go and teach in the class? But I gave you an example, if you would have noted, of that 15 years back example where our professor thought that no, I should not go to the class, I can just write down, right? So because 400 students coming to the class, and his reasons I will tell you was there'll be so much traffic on the road, and there'll be so many the parking slots will not be available, right? So it was futuristic thinking. Okay, so he meant his way of imparting that education in a way that is still that impactful, and the person learned. I learned quantum computing that way.
It's
So
like the one who actually wants to learn up, they can learn up by virtually also sitting, like I am being sitting with you and just learning the things. But depend how much our interaction with this virtual platform. The point is this. But now,
yeah, ethical means. That's
uh,
why the last thing I did not stress much: credential verification. Ethical means.
ethical.
Somebody who wants to learn will learn. But somebody, let me tell you, if you don't want to learn, if you're sitting in the class, still you will not learn, right?
That's
You have
point. That's
so many students who sit physically in the class and still don't,
exactly. Now it's also
grasp things.
students
So
are there physically, they are there, but mentally they are somewhere out.
yeah,
That
but one thing which still remains a gap is the feel. So haptics is what the research community is trying to say, where you can feel, get the one of the sensory organs, which is the feel factor coming in, because education in the field where you are really doing based on touch and feel is a gap. There's a gap there because haptics has not gone that much beyond. But I'm sure over a period of time, even that will be fulfilled. But even if you those subjects which do not require physical touch and feel, it's about teaching and learning some mechanisms, and if it can be immersive, it is actually much more educating and impactful.
impactful. Very true. Thank you so much, sir.
So this is the last thing which I want to say. The future is intelligent, immersive, and inclusive. That means every student, if you go like this in a new curricula, will be much more intelligent than what we are, because they will be free to use technology to question, and the technology will also answer each of their question, rather than we sometimes missing out on. It will be immersive. It will be much more hands-on experienced than what a traditional mechanism used to be. And inclusive, because it is not dependent on the capability of the student. He will still be able to learn what exactly he's going to learn. And as a result, what would have happened? You have better students, better professionals, better skilled individuals, thereby supporting all the sustainable goals of the nation. So overall, you are contributing to the SDGs as well as building a good mass of better educated students. But only thing is, we need to just think differently and maybe adjust our curriculum based on this goal that we need to define. So that's what I want to finish with. Should you have any question, you can ask me. I'm happy to answer.
Well explained, sir. With a special point is focusing on each and every SDV with an examples. So that makes it more interesting and understandable.
Yeah,
Sir,
and
there is one question in the chat box wherein the person is asking, sir, can you please take one syllabus in which any SDG is implemented and to write the course outcome for that subject?
okay, if you want to actually look at one SDG which is included in one curriculum, so I would give the biggest example, because that's how we did a very good work. That I gave an example of AI based AI, right? So if you are teaching AI, and you can create something, a curriculum in which you do not have to depend on GPUs to learn DNN or neural network algorithms, how much energy you have saved. So many students using so many GPUs, so many simulations. I have set of students who have now published papers in tier 1 journals on AI without actually using GPUs, because of the availability of simulated platforms which are actually giving them right output based on what algorithm they are, and these all are neural network based. So it is straight fallout of inclusion of one mechanism in a curriculum where you can handle at least one SDG of energy, let's say. Yeah, any other question?
Any other question?
It's almost into dinner time.
Sir, but you have really done justice with the topic, and very beautifully you explained all the SDGs connecting with the EdTech. So we are highly thankful to you for accepting our invitation and giving so much time to us and letting us so many minute things about the topic. And we hope to see you soon on 9th with another session.
Yeah, sure.
Sir,
Thank you so
excuse me,
much.
sir, excuse me, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Sir, kindly show a curriculum in which the SDGs are implemented, because we are also supposed to frame in autonomous institution. We are supposed to frame curriculums which will inbuild this SDGs. That is why I attended this program, in order to learn how to frame a curriculum. So if you can show a curriculum in which all these SDGs are implemented, how the syllabus is being framed for any one of the program, then it will be easier for us to understand and to do the same in our own institution also.
So what I'll do is, one of the curriculum I will share, where at each step, the change in the curriculum, how it has been done. Okay, like one activity which we used to do as part of, let's say, secure systems engineering is one of the subjects, let's say, and which has been converted into a different methodology, and what SDG is supporting. So because this is an activity which in IIT, all the professors are made to do, where every subject that I'm teaching, I need to change the curriculum so that I support, some of the SDG. I will share my own curriculum where it will help all of you. I will share it with Dr. Neha, and she can share with all of you.
Sure.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
And sir, the participants are also requesting for your slides.
Yeah. I'll share these slides.
Okay, so once you share with me, I'll be circulating across all the participants.
Sure.
Is there any other question? We will also share the sample curriculum, as Dr. Milan has committed with us. So I'll be sharing that also. So see you soon, sir, on 9th.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, and
Okay.
have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Good night, everyone.